Yo, what's going on? John here. Hope you're doing good. And in this video, I'm going to go through the Omnipresent Authority Funnel, a kind of complete overview and training for what to expect and how we're setting this up, what we're going to do, why we're doing it, what we want you to do, and what we expect you to do, what you can expect us to do, and then how we can get everything up and running. But basically, the Omnipresent Authority Funnel from the organic side is two main branches. Number one is the organic distribution. So this is going to be where we share content across multiple platforms in different types like written and video, short form and long form. And we like to keep that as sort of organic and valuable as possible. Ask not very much in those kind of organic posts because we do that instead with paid ads, because people see ads and they kind of expect it to be a promotion. So then they will be more likely to actually take action and not be upset about it being an ad in the first place. But if you ask too much in your organic, you're going to kill your reach and then kind of sacrifice the trust and relationship building that you can get from organic. And then it just doesn't work as well, and it doesn't really give you a chance to grow and flourish. But basically, one of the main reasons that we wanted to record this is because the market is changing all the time, and there's something called pendulum swings. And what that means is that the market will swing back and forth between different types of content, what works in typical markets, what the common pattern is. And the issue is people start to copy and clone and recreate the same thing over and over and over again. And then people get tired of it. So they're looking for something new. So then there are trendsetters. They start to make something new. They build momentum. They have something that's working because it's different. And then those people that were cloning before start to swing back the other way. And then it saturates the space. There's some bad actors. People get burned. And then we keep going back and forth. But what we're finding now is that that pendulum swing rate is actually going up, meaning that things are changing faster and faster all the time. So you need to stay on top of trends as much as possible. Not only what works now, but what's going to work in 3 months, 6 months, or a year, right? So let's keep going through this. Yeah, and effectively it's the same exact thing with organic strategy as it is with funnels and everything else in between. So what you are building instead is something that is built to last. It's the Omnipresent Authority Funnel for organic, and it's basically your multi-platform content distribution and retargeting, like those ads that I mentioned earlier. And then what this means is you aren't just isolating yourself to an individual platform. You are going across all of the platforms as much as possible, posting native content for those platforms. And then over time, you are going to get better as you're posting these videos, as you are recording more content, and you're going to find more of your voice. Like, we're going to start with something as good as we can get based on your onboarding information and based on where you're at in your content and recording journey. But over time, through repetition, through market feedback and data, you're going to find how to not only refine your voice, but also get more reach and more results as well. So then what that really does for you is basically when someone starts to research you and look for you, then they can find you, right? Which is a huge, huge, huge trust factor, because a lot of people, and you might hear this or you might not hear this because people think this in the back of their mind. It's like they just clicked on an ad, they went through a funnel, they hopped on a call, and people are asking, 3, 5, 7, 10, up to 15, 25K in a very, very short period of time, because usually calls are within that first week. So it's very, very tough to build enough trust with them in that short of a time frame without having really good organic content. And that is one of the trust signals where, okay, this person is real. They're out there. They're not just trying to run ads and make a quick buck online. And the more that you have already built up on your platform, over, across multiple platforms, across time, the more they're likely to trust you as well, because they can see you've been around for a long time and things tend to continue the way they are, right? It's like a physics thing. An object in rest, or it tends to stay in rest, and an object in motion tends to stay in motion. It's like if you've been moving for a very long time and they can see that, you've got a lot of momentum, and they're like, okay, this person is going to likely be around in the next 6 months as well. So that's why it's super, super important to do this and keep on building this. There are two essential content strategies here, and this is our kind of creme de la creme. Our core philosophy is all about efficiency. And what that means is similar to this video, we want to build pillar content and then use the waterfall method to distribute it more and more over time. And I'll show you some of that, how this math breaks down below. But Basically, you have one pillar piece of content, you chop it up into videos and posts, and then distribute those across multiple platforms, just increasing your reach exponentially. So let's keep going through here. And yeah, so you, for example, and functionally to make this very real, would record something that's maybe 20 to 60 minutes, and then you want to read a well-structured document that has your information in here a lot like this, annotations, space for you to think and demonstrate some of your thoughts and what you actually personally believe too, because it's easy to clone what other people are doing, but to actually share your own thoughts gives you a unique position in the market. And then from there, we clip it down into short form pieces. And some of the way the math works is, like 50 to 75 posts for one long form post, like per one long form post, which is really, really cool. So, you have one long form video. You have 10 to 15 high quality clips from that. Usually you'll get 20, 25, and you'll want to trim it down to the best ones. And then if you start to, record 3 long form videos per week, you can get, 50 to 75 posts per one long form post, and then times that by 3, right? So you're getting into the 150 to 225 posts per 3 videos. And that's just video content. And then you can distribute that more with written posts and more distribution. And then you just have this massive, massive, again, waterfall kind of structure where you keep on getting wider and wider, more and more reach. Some of these posts won't perform at the highest possible level, but that's okay because you've got exceptional reach, right? And that's the name of the game. And some of them will pop off. And the higher quality you do over time with higher volume, the better and better it's going to get. That's just how this whole game works. So yeah, this isn't copy and paste content. It's like, how would you do something? It's like, hey guys, here's how I would XYZ, whatever that thing is that's going to demonstrate your specific experience and what you've actually seen in the market and how that can likely apply to their specific situation. Like for me, for example, I might say, here's how I would run a CRO test over a 2-week sprint to XYZ, which means like, okay, I would run a sprint for 2 weeks to test if we could increase the conversion rate from our application funnel from, let's say, 20% to even 22%. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you make those little adjustments throughout the entire funnel, then you're going to get better and better results. Something like that is what I would say. For you, it's going to depend on your expertise. You're the coach, you're the expert. We're just helping you get your message out there. And then really from there, the YouTube flywheel is in and of itself its own flywheel. Like just from YouTube and distributing content like that, you can get so much reach, build so much authority, build so much trust in the market that it's one of the best and most tactical things ever. And then over time, your long form content actually keeps on building in the background too, which is amazing. One thing that you can do as we start to share content with you, and I'll put a link to the actual resource in here a little bit later, but using your AI clone brain and the VA that we place on your team, plus using some of your own voice notes and clips to build content, you can make the content that we send you and the posts and long form style content that we share even better over time, building more and more valuable deep cut kind of insights. And then you can go through that and again, annotate it with your experience, because when you show that depth, people trust you more because it's like, okay, you've done this before. Like it would be hard to make that up, right? Like I've seen people kind of like clone what other people have said and then just use their stuff. But if you can show like, hey, here's a situation where I did this specifically, really, really good, really, really solid stuff. And I'll actually have an example in here, I think, from one of the videos that we posted on my YouTube channel before. But yeah, this waterfall basically creates its own mini flywheel where you can distribute that content, and I'm going to show it one more time, and it can point back to the YouTube video. So you clip it down, and it's almost like a teaser, similar to when you probably have seen on YouTube or something, like shows where people post shows and like short clips of some kind of TV show, and then that TV show starts to pop off, and then you start to see more and more of that type of content, and then eventually people who just are kind of flicking around on the short form content eventually want to go to the source, which is the actual YouTube video, or the channel in your case, right? And if you multiply this, and if this looks like a lot, now imagine multiplying this by like 10, 20, 50 videos and more. This waterfall starts to become an absolute torrent for you. So that's the purpose, that's the goal, and that's how we're trying to build out. The second part is one-off content, purpose-built one-off content. So you might have seen, for example, Mr. Beast clips where he's got YouTube shorts that are dedicated YouTube shorts, but they're still really well made. For you, that's going to look more like talking head content, potentially story content. Like there's a few different types of posts that you can make across Reels and TikTok and YouTube Shorts and stuff like that, but it is some kind of purpose-built content with some kind of goal. One way that I really enjoy doing this outside of, you can talk about a day in the life. It's like, hey, today, da 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 da, and you're building more of a personal connection. You can post as much of that as you want in addition to the strategy that we've given you. Like you don't have to operate within like a very confined scope. You're more than welcome to start expanding and to start experimenting. And if you saw something interesting, you can just pull out your phone, do a selfie style video, make sure that you're framed well in the video, and then you can make those posts. The other way that we like to do that is by boosting conversion specific reels. So these reels are where you're like, hey, I'm looking for XYZ avatar to get this kind of outcome within this kind of time. Like if that sounds like you, if da 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 da, then comment the word down below, or book a call on my profile. Like, go check me out, send me a DM, something like that. And then they click over and move over to your profile, and then they see all of your short form content and the content that you've redistributed, and it builds, again, more trust that increases your conversion rate up front. So that's why we like both, but this is our kind of creme de la creme because it's just so efficient. And just as a founder, recording 1 or 2 or 3 long form videos per week with a clear structure to follow like this, because you're an expert, is so easy. And I like the effort to outcome ratio of doing this kind of content a lot. It's super good. So from there, yeah, again, boosting reels and all that kind of stuff. And again, you're more than welcome to record as much as you want. Platforms seem to, in this current market and pendulum swing, be rewarding a lot of people who post a lot of content. And the more you post high quality content and a lot of high quality content, again, the better the flywheel is going to work. So yeah, there's always going to be a balance, and feel free to pause this video, read through this document as I'm going, but yeah, let's keep going for now. So in terms of content distribution and how we like to kind of structure this, there are talking head like Reels style, which is mostly IG optimized, which is where those kind of posts perform the best, but we do redistribute them on other platforms as well. And this is basically a direct talking to camera, like you're in a frame, maybe there's a document, maybe there's no document, but it is a talking head reel. And this is to demonstrate authority. They're not typically going to pop off and become viral posts because that's not really their purpose. It's to build trust and to build some kind of connection with people. You can use certain types of reach content, and there's certain types of reach content that we're going to do for you and help you with, but that is one of the main ones. The B-roll multi-sliders are also good for reach. This is what we call them. They're basically going to be those carousel style posts, and this is going to be screenshots and kind of like timelines of your day-to-day, even sometimes the exact same image on every single post, and then just changing the captions on them. That can be it. And those can work really well for increasing reach because the effort to consume, because that's just how it is. Like, people don't always want to watch like a full minute video. At least they can swipe through, and it's like kind of a light consumption. And then that, when they connect with you, will follow you as well. And then you've probably seen these. You've also got like seamless loop content where you finish off with a sentence that starts the video over again. And usually you can get more consumption, which then increases the reach of your videos because people watch it again and again and again by mistake, basically. So yeah, we'll optimize these for Instagram first. We found that their algorithm is overall more effective versus trying to optimize for TikTok or YouTube. They're a little bit more specific, but IG works for both pretty well. And then we will redistribute these across a bunch of different platforms. I think more than we have actually listed here, but yeah, basically just trying to get you as good of a bang for your buck as possible. And we'll do that through Metrical. So it's all scheduled. And again, your waterfall isn't just a growing torrent. It's a very controlled and targeted torrent as well. And then from there, the written content side of things, which we will kind of phase out. We want to prioritize the video content first because there's a deeper connection that you have with your audience. We find that written posts are also good, and even for kind of like conversion CTA posts are okay. But in terms of connection, building trust, and especially when you're starting to get going and to build those reps and to really build your presence and authority, we find that video works better. Yeah, and then from there, we have a couple of different types of written content posts. You have either image-based posts, which can be like a lot of profile and like selfie style images work really well. We've experimented with that a lot as well, and yeah, just more connection, like something that would look native on a platform is the kind of stuff that works well depending on where you are as well. There's always a bit of a dependency there, but we've also mapped and identified which types of written and image type content will distribute nicely across different platforms too. And yeah, from there, basically, in terms of ramping up and getting to this point where you're producing a lot of this YouTube content, we want to make sure that the system itself is set up very intentionally, and we've mapped out kind of a critical path for doing this as effectively as possible for you. Number one is pre-call resource recording and redistribution. So you can record your pre-call resource, which is something that you record before your sales call, that you send to prospects and leads before your sales call, so they get to know you before they hop on. Because instead of answering a bunch of questions at the beginning of your call and having to waste a bunch of time, if they consume that, then they already know and they're like, wow, this is a fit for me. Like it's kind of like a prolonged VSL. So they consume that content and then they get on a call with you, and then you can have more of a real conversation. You can also distribute that resource very similar to the talking head style, where you're posting a bunch of IG reels, talking head, and that kind of stuff, because it works really well as a video for the way that we structured it, and then it gives your audience a chance to get to know you on a deeper level before they even get to meet you. And then after this is done, the same setup that we use here applies to YouTube. And that's why we intentionally set it up that way. So by the time that is done, and by the time we've started distributing those reels for you, you can move into the YouTube phase, which is the content waterfall phase that is going to get you so much more kind of breadth of reach as quickly as possible. And then we want to move into one-off reels and boosted reels. We have conversion-focused scripts that you can use for your profile that will get people to DM you and to book calls directly. And then we just try to optimize that as much as possible and eventually layer on retargeting too to get them back to your profile and to take action. So yeah, it's not the most urgent thing right away because it's more of an optimization and tweaking kind of thing. The most important thing is to make the funnel work first and then to optimize after the fact. So the YouTube long form content, there's a few different steps here. So we give you a well-structured document. Like we'll help you write that using the kind of structure and pacing and tone that we've seen work very well. And instead of needing to go back and forth consistently, if you have not seen this training already, please set up your GPT brain and Claude brain, like your AI brain clone, and we'll show you how to connect that with your VA. Because when you do this, you have after orientation, setting up your onboarding docs and getting a VA on your team, you make a hire, you set up your AI and Claude brain. Now your new teammate can basically clone your brain and intentionality and quality control and everything else, and basically do all the stuff that you would have done for you without you having to do it, which is amazing. It's like people have always wanted to clone their brain and like have a clone of themselves that's doing things, and now you can virtually do that using AI, and it's amazing. And this just makes everything go so much faster. And this is really how you start to move into not just recording like one YouTube video per week, but moving to 2, 3, 4, 5, because this game is really about volume and impact. The more volume you do, the higher impact you have, the better it's going to be. And the more volume that you do, the greater impact you have, because if you're intentionally practicing as you're recording these videos, then it's going to get better and better and better. And then because you're seeing success and results and having an impact, you're going to want to do more volume again as well. So it's a very virtuous cycle. I think Hormozy calls it that. But yeah, from there, yeah, just a very, very quick platform breakdown. We've got IG, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, and YouTube long form. And this is where it kind of is the baseline from. And all of these can feed into YouTube as well to get you more reach, to help build momentum faster, because shorts have more of like a spike and a shorter half-life. YouTube long form videos, build over time consistently. And then depending on the trend and what's going on, it can spike, maybe dip a little bit, but it's something that keeps on building and building and building for you and builds your authority. And people can see that on your channel. And again, they just have that huge trust signal when they see you. And then from there, as we get going, I won't go too deep into this one. We will do retargeting based on people that visit your profile. Eventually, we'll have, and we're more than happy to help. Again, in the future, this is not priority, but in the future, we can help set up Google Ads, Google ad retargeting, where you start to follow around in their display network, show up on websites, and like even in email and stuff. And that's when people start to say, wow, I see you everywhere. Like you must be huge, even if you're doing very, very narrow, granular targeting, you can do that. So the one very important concept here is that content can't really be mastered. Like you personally can get very good at the principles of what helps persuade people over time with how you are projecting your energy, how you're kind of like bring people down and ultimately converting them. But what works usually eventually gets tired because people copy it and then people start to recognize a pattern. Like with high ticket sales, people would always say strategy session, and that's still popular and it still can work. But because so many people have said strategy session, it's kind of like tried and it's like, okay, I know this is a sales call. So what we've also seen in that is like people are just more blunt now, and that works too. It's like, hey, yeah, we can see if it's a good fit. Let's just have a quick sales chat, something like that, like a quick call, just something very mellow. And then the effectiveness drops, and then someone creates a new process, and then again, it just keeps on repeating. So if things change, whatever the mastered type of content is very likely to change. You can still take the principles that you learned along the way, but then you'll have to apply it to new mediums and again, follow that pendulum. Or ideally stay a bit ahead of the pendulum too. But one very cool thing with distribution strategy specifically in mind is the compounding effect and what that can do for your perceived authority. Like Alex Hormozy, they do an insane number of posts all the time, right? Clips, posts, everything all the time, everywhere, as much as humanly possible. And he was talking about, and what we've seen, and what we have gone through multiple times as well, is not just having one channel, single platform mastery is going to be the best approach going forward. Number one, because platforms are going to change, right? Platforms change, platforms can go away. The effectiveness of certain types of content on platforms can go away. I've talked to so many people at events, on coaching calls, on client calls, consulting calls, everything, where they relied super heavily on one channel and then something changed. Maybe, email filters changed. Okay, and now your effectiveness just dropped to 25% and your entire business was dependent on that, which means that 75% of your business just went away. People have been banned on Facebook. People have been moved away. Content types have gone away on different platforms. So this is risky. It's like you can do it. And if you have very narrow focus, you can make it work. But the omnipresent approach is basically using the most effective way to redistribute content and try to multiply those followers instead. And these are just, example stats, but like, would you rather have 50,000 followers on one platform or realistically like 230,000 followers across multiple platforms without really having to add extra work to your plate? And that is really our philosophy for, let's not just use this and post on one platform. Let's take it, figure out where is good to redistribute this, and then make that redistribution happen, because this also makes you more discoverable across platforms. So if they see you in multiple places for a long period of time, they're going to trust you more. So authority as a marketing asset is one of the nicest things you can have, because when people jump on a call with you, they think you're kind of famous, right? They're like, wow, like you're like, it kind of changes the dynamic of the conversation. We're like, wow, yeah, I saw a lot of your content. That's cool. Like, I'm a big fan, that kind of stuff over time. Or when they can see, it's like, oh yeah, you've got like 200,000 followers, even 10,000 followers, whatever. And as that's growing more and more, it kind of elevates you a little bit, which just gives so much leverage in the conversation to either hold that frame and kind of like be like, oh, look at how big I am, or like come down and then like relate to them more. Like, there's so much you can do with that, but it's a huge marketing asset. You can use those stats on your website, in your content, and then in conversation as well. So from there, and it opens up more partnership opportunities too. Like if there's people in your space and you want to do a potential JV, being like, hey, yeah, I've got like 300,000 followers. They're pretty engaged. Do you want to do something? And then people are much more willing to say like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Yeah, and then overall they start to yes, just see you everywhere. It's like you must be important, right? That's what people start to passively think. Even if they don't consciously think it, they start to see you more and more and more. And by the time you have a conversation, it's like they already feel like they know you. So you don't have to like introduce yourself, make a first impression. It's like your content has already done that first impression for you, which I love. And then from there, long-term compounding, like this is a short actually. This is a viral short that we posted like a year ago or 2 years ago, actually. It's wild. 2 years ago, October. And it popped off a lot, but there's this gradual increase that still gets profile views and subscribes and people kind of coming back for the content time and time over and over again. So it's not just that content goes out once and then it's okay, well, it's out in the ether now, and then it's like a short flame. Some of them are for sure, but some of them will actually keep growing and keep getting you more and more viewers, more subscribers, all that kind of stuff, especially for longer form content, kind of like this. Um, these videos are heavy to consume. Not a lot of people are going to consume them completely, but the people that do end up also being great clients. Yeah, so again, and this is more for short form, depending on how many subscribers you have. It's like a platform might show your video to someone, like 5,000 people. On YouTube Shorts, for example, the algorithm is like, hey, we're going to show you to 10 people, and if like 5 people watch it, okay, we'll show you to 100, and then the next stage, and the next stage, and then after a while, it does some kind of magical calculation in the background based on engagement rates, based on how many people came back, how many new people stopped scrolling when you were having the like when they were swiping through content. They will give you more and more reach, kind of like this video as well. So it's like people will stop and they're like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And this video had so many comments. People, it was a fun video. I might show that later as well. But basically, yeah, each post is a sales rep working for you, helping slowly persuade people across all your content until they're ready to buy, right? And it's not saying like salesy things in your posts. It's saying things that like start to reduce the objections that they might have about you, the company, the process, any other like kind of background questions and things that they might kind of subconsciously think too. So yeah, it's amazing, and it again just all across the board creates this ever-growing flywheel. And the better and better you get on camera with your content, the better this starts to reach as well. So one of the biggest reasons that people fail with anything, right? It's like they try a shiny object, they see something in the horizon, they're like, wow, that would be really cool to do. So they try it for maybe 30 days, like posting. And then they're like, yeah, I'm not really seeing much. I don't have a bunch of new leads. I think I'm not gonna do this. This doesn't work, But it's kind of like the analogy of someone saying, yeah, I do bicep curls all the time, but my biceps don't get any bigger. What's going on? And then you're like, hey, well, like, what are you doing? And then, can you show me? And they're like, sure, yeah, I guess so. And then they start squatting, and it's like, okay, yeah, no worries, your bicep. No wonder your biceps aren't getting any bigger. You're doing curls, or you're not doing curls. You're doing squats. What's going on? You know. So, yeah, from there, it's like we just have to reach this thing that we call critical mass. Basically, it is finding the algorithmically optimal ish, because the algorithm changes, so you can't say this is 100% the algorithm. It would be amazing to, I would love to, but that's just not reality. You have to reach roughly 300 posts distributed across platforms consistently and keep on going and like just never stop, because sometimes there's a plateau that people hit, and depending on the market, depending on the niche, depending on the content, that can last for a while, and then suddenly you hit this kind of like rocket mode, and you start to grow much more aggressively. And it's this just angular change that happens so consistently with people that grow and just stick with it long enough and have that intentionality to get better over time. And then you can just start to compound that effect. And then by the time everybody else has quit, you have this huge audience asset, and or either huge or very, very, trusting and conversion ready. Like there was someone who had, I think Alex Hormozy said 6,000 followers, something like that. And from her audience, she would make, I think, just about $1 million a year just from 6,000 subscribers and like selling things on repeat consistently. Very niche market, but yeah, I mean, you don't need a 10 million person list to make money with social media. So from there, yeah, really what you're doing is you're trying to build an organic base. You are going to build an organic base to generate leads and build that authority, help with conversion rates on the front end, and then turn it into this content flywheel over time. And then updating your strategy within our actual, to get a little bit more tactical here, our Omnipresent authority sheet. We will have, already mapped out everything with your content pillars, with your beliefs, topics, the things that you want to talk about consistently, your pitch pillars, to make sure that the problem and solution aware people are getting addressed with different kinds of content that we're weaving into the post for you. You don't have to wait for us to make all the changes. You're more than welcome. This is like kind of like you're like a playground almost. Don't change everything, but what you can do is especially change the client notes and additions. When you go in here, you can say, I really want to talk about the time that I, etc., etc., etc. And you can use a combination of AI and a tool like Super Whisper, which is going to transcribe your voice into words for you to write these kind of things really quickly. You could even use Slack voice notes to yourself, take the transcript, and drop it in here. And this could be like a story. It's like, yeah, last year on January 2nd, I slipped on some ice and met the love of my life, something like that. And it's like some kind of story that you want to write about for that specific thing. And we'll take that into mind and write that for you with our team. So you don't have to worry about us, or you don't have to ask us to change things. You're more than welcome to come in here and specifically change things the way that you want. So from there, just, especially with your AI and Claude Brain, like your GPT Brain, your Claude Brain, you're more than welcome to, again, use voice notes, use AI, and just make those edits and changes directly yourself. That's going to be much faster. It's also going to be more effective, and there's less room for misinterpretation as well. So it's just going to be a lot faster. And then from there, to start anyway, consistency beats perfection. Consistency also becomes perfection over time in terms of your tone, your voice, your energy. And there's never really, there's rarely those like perfect days. You might have seen it in basketball when people have like this hot hand. It's like they can't miss. We will have those days, right? But the most important thing is showing up every day, very, very consistently. Because if you are consistent every single day and you keep showing up and you're intentional and trying to learn and become better every day, kind of like James Clear, 1% better every day over a year, and you get some kind of like 300% increase in results, something like that. But if you keep staying consistent, platforms and algorithms may change, but when you are demonstrating your authority and trust in the market, they will trust you back. So that is pretty much it. I've already made these arguments. Why omnipresence beats single platform focus is because there's like so many risks assumed with focusing on one thing. That platform might go away, and while you're focusing on that, your competitor could be expanding to everything else, and then they're going to start to consume the market instead of you, and you deserve to. So yeah, it's basically a media company within your business eventually, where you just have this huge, again, waterfall content engine and internal posting engine, and just this momentum that you keep on building again and again and again, over and over, and then you're just unstoppable. Because this is also not just making you everywhere the obvious choice, the authority in your market, and you have those options to kind of adjust and adapt. It's like, okay, Instagram's popping off, I'm going to focus there. YouTube is popping off, I'm going to focus there. Because you're already there, it makes it easier. But what this also does is give you the chance to, like a blacksmith, basically, removing the impurities from ourselves. We have a chance to grow, to be better, to keep on learning and grow with what our personal capabilities are, which is amazing. And you can use that anywhere. The better you get with content, communicating your message, the better you're going to be on sales calls, the better you're going to be in ads, the better you're going to be on stage, right? Like all of this stuff interconnects and gives us a chance to grow, which I absolutely love. And then Another big thing here is, especially as the market changes and as AI takes over more, people who have authentic ways to connect with people are going to have so much more competitive moat than people that have not done content and they're trying to get into the content game later, because AI is everywhere. Just now, we've seen it, you've seen it, and it's only going to get more intense, and like attention's going to get sparser. But if people have already built trust with you, then you already have kind of like a tribe that knows you and likes you, right? So um, and this is super important, like ownership of execution, and execution being your responsibility. It's like winners are the people who just don't stop and they keep going, and like they keep doing whatever it takes to succeed at something, where the people who don't win will, maybe try pretty hard, but like not do what it takes, because that statement, doing what it takes, means whatever that thing takes, including kind of evolving our own identity and becoming the kind of person that can succeed, is really what it takes at the end of the day. And if you're not posting consistently, you're not taking care of your audience. You're depriving them of a chance really to get to know you better, which is what it's all about at the end of the day. So be that person who does not quit, okay? And we'll just go over some quick social media trends to wrap up here. But what we've seen is that things have been changing. And also just the window of opportunity for online business generally with AI, because AI is slowly taking over more and more and more, regardless of industry, so long as it is digital. And until robots start taking over physical jobs, a lot of stuff is going to get taken over with AI. Fortunately, people will push back against it, platforms will push back against it, but there is a window of opportunity for this all to kind of work out. The other saving grace is paid ads, because someone's always going to have to foot the bill for this kind of thing, but it's still very important to move quickly and to establish just as much security and moat as you possibly can get. And the ways to do that are with speed and with omnipresent authority. So from there, trends to look out for are basically new social platforms emerging, new algorithm changes happening, like with TikTok. So there's a big change happening with TikTok because of just all the fiasco with China and like moving things around. There will be specific community features. There's going to be things like threads that pop up under different platforms. There's going to be a lot of experiments, and usually because things are new, there's an opportunity to take advantage short term of like a new platform's algorithm. So it's always good to be aware of this. We're always going to be looking out for this kind of stuff, but it's important for you to as well. Human verified platforms, as weird as that sounds, I think is going to happen too. Probably dedicated platforms and main social media platforms, like the mainstream social media platforms too, because AI content is everywhere and it's getting better all the time, indistinguishable from reality. We use it too for a lot of our ads and stuff, but eventually people are going to push back. There's already a lot of anti-AI sentiment, so you might have to verify in the future as well. But the people who do that first and have that trust, again, it may be like a human, like an H badge or something for human on their profile, will be one of the leading trust factors in the future. And then, yeah, AI content dominance, platforms will absolutely fight this. Like there's so much AI content, and it will be, yeah, exactly like this game of cat and mouse, where AI gets better so it can slip past detection gets better so it can catch that content again. Some people will try to take advantage of it. If platforms start to ban it or require people to market as AI, then the AI content game will be different, and it'll be, what I expect is more kind of entertainment focused versus conversion focused. So more of like funny videos, like there was videos where they went super viral where someone would answer the door, and there would be a cute dog, and it's like, oh, hello there, and suddenly like a fire hydrant would, like of water would erupt from them and they would destroy the house, and it just really random stuff. So I mean, that's going to start happening a lot more as well. But yeah, this was a great example that Phoenix shared. Basically, this influencer generated a ton of money in a single day with an AI avatar that was just answering questions that was trained on a lot of his past conversations and content, which is absolutely wild. Long form content is definitely making a comeback, partly because I think people are getting fried out just from all the short form content. Like people coined a term called doom scrolling at some point where they're just like scrolling for hours and hours and hours. And the algorithm is so set up to get people to do that that eventually they're just numb, right? So they want something with a bit more depth and with a bit more connection too, which is amazing. So we see that starting to come back a little bit more, and people pushing more to long form content. And then, like we kind of talked about earlier, it's really a bit of both. You've got quality over quantity, but both really matter because to get to quality, you need to do a lot of quantity, and then as you do more quality, you get more results, more impact, and then you want to do more quantity too. So, that might look like you get to 7 out of 10 quality. Maybe tone is off, lighting's off, something, but you're doing 7 videos a week and getting practice in, which is already huge, and that puts you in the top like 10 to 98th percentile or so. And then you get your content quality up to 9 out of 10. So it's like you have like a bit more of a set, you have like a background, you have professional lighting, there's a little bit more like a really nice camera, and then you drop down to 2 or 3 videos because it requires more editing, the file sizes are bigger, so it takes longer to transfer, that kind of stuff. And then you start to get back to 7 videos a week. You hire an editor, you have people that are helping a little bit more in-house too. You have faster internet, like all that kind of stuff, and then you can do more content, which is great. And then building personal brand, like you are the niche at the end of the day. Like there's a lot of people who really try to niche down with specific authority content, which is fine, but it's not the full picture, especially anymore. Like that method and tactic is a little bit too tried now, where people also want to see kind of more the scope and then your personal insights. I mentioned this earlier as well, but it's like, here's how I would XYZ, right? Like that kind of content does well. As well as just, sharing a little bit more about you. Like it's like you talk about one thing all the time, but then another video you're like, yeah, just a reminder, guys, it's super important to go and chill and unplug. I was at the lake today and I did these things and and like you tell a bit of a story and it just shows another side of you that's like, okay, this is a real human, not like a content engine, right? So really, really good stuff. And then we're entering a new marketing paradigm at this point. Like the old ways of doing it for just trying to get a lot of attention, go viral, that kind of stuff just doesn't work anymore. A lot of status symbols can work depending on the industry, but it's just not as effective, not nearly as effective as it was like 10 years ago, right? Where you're standing in front of a Lambo, it's like, hey, like like Ty Lopez, here in my garage, but you know what I like more than cars, books, like that kind of thing, can still work with some audiences, but it's not really the thing that works for most coaches and most niches, and just most businesses anymore. The new way is like having a clear niche and developing your personal brand, providing a lot of value first to build that trust, and then have just really good long form content that you can distribute. And then again, we mentioned this at the start, but the urgency is so real with AI. Phoenix and I chatted about this quite a bit with, okay, where's AI going? Because if the curve of development and progress is exponential, eventually it passes the ability for us to even perceive what's happening with AI anymore. It's like it's so far beyond us in terms of like even currently it has the expertise of accountants and artists and lawyers and everything in between. Like it's just this wild thing that's happening in front of us, and it's going to keep getting better and better. There's going to be pushback, but it's still going to keep getting better and better. So it's unpredictable what is going to happen in the future. So the main goal, and there's a few different iterations of this, but building and having exits, either exiting your business or taking out a partner and kind of moving into more of a passive role while you do something else and like build some kind of like physical space sort of business, which is eventually going to be my plan too. Like I'm probably going to start a coffee shop at some point. I'll probably get a homestead. I'm not sure which country yet, but just set up different types of things that you enjoy and want to be participating in. And physical business is going to be more of a moat because for robots to take over, it's going to take like a long time, right? Not super long. I think next year there's a new robot as of October 31st that's coming out called Neo or something like that. And it's going to be one of those like home-based robots that can like do some basics like to putting the dishes away, taking out the trash, that kind of stuff. Maybe gardening, I'm not sure. But slowly and slowly, within cities and then like radiating out, they're going to become more and more common and popular. But then I'm sure we're also going to see like pushback from people who don't like robots, because we are invested in being humans as well, and we like our existence quite a lot. So yeah, all that to say is, like, let's just get started. Let's get moving. Again, quantity, quality, effective and efficient distribution, and good strategy, and just showing up consistently. And then in the meanwhile, direct paid ads are running, and then retargeting ads are going to help set up and retarget both people, and then move them down the funnel and convert with you. So anyway, appreciate you. Hope you're doing good, and I will catch you later.